Hi, my name is Paul Weiss, and if you're watching this video, it's probably for the same reasons that I was looking for YouTube too. It's to try and convert this space, i.e. my garage, into a games room slash man cave. Now, searching through the internet, there are some good videos, but not really any with sort of step-by-step guides on what you should and shouldn't do. Now, I'm not a tradesman as such, but I'm pretty handy with most things. Now, what I'm going to do is just document everything I do, both good and bad, so hopefully you can get your projects up off the ground and start running. So I have an idea of what I want to do, but first of all, before I start measuring and planning, I need to make sure that this place is clear and ready to work in. Getting rid of that shit. Okay, so now we're sort of tidied up. Here's the plan. So if you'll notice here that the height of the door threshold to the concrete pad floor is obviously a lot higher. So what I plan to do is to lay a plastic membrane, damp-proof membrane on the whole of the floor. 2x2, probably stud work I reckon it is about, all on the floor, build a floor, to put then some plywood on top, which should then bring the level to the right height. Then going to lay a underfloor heating mat, if you like, across the whole size of it. Point to note, with most of these garages you get the the overarching doors. So what I have had done is had the roller door fitted, therefore I can get a high ceiling. Otherwise the mechanism came to about that height, so therefore I wouldn't be able to put any tall ceiling. Going to stud and insulate all the walls, and then put some electrics up. We've already got some in place, so it shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see how we get on. So also what I'm going to do is that point there where the ladder comes down is where I'm pretty much going to stop the room. So I'm going to build another wall so I have then storage, which I can still use for all the kids' crap. Okay, so now I've got a loose plan. I say loose because it can always change. Now I need to do is measure up how much stud work I'm going to need. It's going to be a lot, and different sizes as well. So what I'm going to do first is measure the floor area. What I'm going to do is to go around the shape of the room it's going to be, and then obviously I have to factor in, I'm going to have battens across as well to make it short sturdy. Okay, so I've just taken delivery of all the materials that I think will get me quite far into it. So I've got a load of 4x1s, 5 metre lengths. There's 3.6 2x2s under there, and a load of 2.4 metre 2x2s there. Load of plasterboard. I just had to handball again, which is becoming a ball ache. Got insulation and the tongue and groove flooring outside. I just can't fit it all in at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is start laying down the flooring. So once I get that down, at least I can bring the rest of the stuff in to rest it on. What I'm going to use each material for is the long 2x2s are going to be going a long ways to make up the flooring. The short ones will be used for the noggins and also the walls. The 4x1s, what I'm going to do with them is take them crossways across the garage beams that are already there, and then I'm going to build the stud wall from the floor up, pushing it underneath the 4x1s to keep it all nice and braced up. But we'll get to that later on. Just got to jig around a few more things in here now so I can get enough space to actually start getting the frame of the floor down, and then get some insulation in there. Right, so change of plan already. I told you I'd not give you any bullshit about this. I just can't work around these 5 metre lengths. So what I'm going to do first is put these across to take the plasterboards. I'm going to put them up at 400 centres across each way, so they will be able to take the plasterboards, and we'll see where we go from there. At least then I'll have some space to work in. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start from the corner there. I'm going to be marking 400 centres all the way along until we reach the end of the proposed build, which is going to be about 4 metres long. All right, so just need to get out and mark them, do the same on the other side, and start fixing the 4x1s up. Now, it may not be the right way to do things, but it seems to make sense to me. It will hold the plasterboard. Once I get the floor and I can brace in the walls underneath, make it all strong, and we'll see where we go. Okay, so that's halfway done. Those eagle-eyed among you would notice that I'm missing a foot. Okay, now one thing you may not know, well, you won't know, is that this doesn't work either, my piece of shit hand. So when I do things, I have got my own technique, so bear with me and don't judge. Right, so I marked out where all the 4x1s are going to go, and now it's time to fix them. Obviously I'm on my own, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a brace out of the 2x2s to hold up the other side of the bits of wood I'm putting up. Okay, so as I said before, I've got 5 metre lengths of the 4x1s, and it doesn't have to be bang on, I don't think, as long as there's a slight overhang and they obviously cover the sides of the raft. It should be fine. So I'm just going to cut them all in half, bang them all up, and see where we go. Okay, so I've cut all the 4x1s now, ready to go across the way. Let's get it done. I'm not going to bore you with another very long time lapse, but you get the picture. Put them in, check back in when it's done. Okay, so now we've got the ceiling up. I need to get rid of them hooks and stuff, but yeah, it's all done now. Now I'm going to start putting the floor down because it's getting dark and I need to get the rest of the stuff in from outside. Okay, so it's time now to start doing the floor. Now what I'm going to do is, you can see the 3.6 metre 2x2 on down around the long ways. There's a 2.4 going across the top there. So I'm going to make a frame out of that. Now, the narrowest point of the room, which is where the sort of concrete pillar is there, is at 2.4. So hopefully it should not go nicely across here. You want to step it a little bit off the main brick wall so there's air going behind it. Otherwise, if these walls get wet, then there's going to be damp coming through, and it can then get through the wood and then through the insulation and onto the plasterboard, and you get damp patches. So I'm going to step it a little bit off the wall, get the floor down first. Okay, then we'll start on the walls. Right, so about to start cracking on, marking out the top end of it at 400s again across the way on the 2.4 metre length, and then the 3.6s will come down. Then we'll start knocking in between to make it all rigid. Right, I'm just going to bang these in, catch up in a sec. Okay, so I've got the base of the floor down. I'm not going to nog it yet because I've got to build a little frame to go into there and around that concrete bit, so it all joins up to the end. Okay, so going to start making up the little frame now to go in to fill into where the floor doesn't quite reach the wall. frame built now. See, it goes around the block, through the reveal and down there. So I just built the extra little frame, nailed it to the existing one and good to go. So that is in a nutshell the floor done. Just got to run the noggins across. Usually on a 2.4 metre wall, standard height of a wall, you do 1 row. So because it's a bit longer, I'm going to put 2 rows in. Then I'm going to go around with a level and just make sure it's all flat. Yeah, and if it's not, just put some packers in underneath, then good to go. So I'm just going to nog it and I'll check back with you in a sec. A very quick one, if you are a complete novice and don't know what noggins are. These are the noggins either side. Now, point to note, use a chalk line to measure where I'm going to put them. Then if you're using a nail gun, go either side of the chalk line so you can get the gun in between the noggins.